What's up everyone? So in today's video, we're going to be installing a small accessory mod for my Tacoma. And this is my new ARB air compressor. I got this from tacomabeast.com. I will have a link to their website down in the description below. They are your one-stop shop for any Tacoma accessory that you're looking for, from the first, second, and third gen Tacomas. They have bumpers, fender flares, recovery tools, and things like the air compressor here. So I think I'm going to be getting a couple more items from them that I have on my list for more mods on the truck. But definitely check out their website. I will have it down in the description below. So out of the box now, here's everything that is included with the kit. There's a whole bunch of wiring here. There's detailed instructions that I've gone through already that will definitely be helpful. Of the three that are offered, this one is in the middle. There's one that's a little bit smaller than this, and then the next level up has two motors on it. So if you're doing multiple rigs, I think is when you would get that one. This can fill up 35-inch tires in about 3 or 4 minutes is what it says online. I have 33s, so it should be quicker than that. And then there's actually a couple fuse relays and a mounting switch. Basically, I'm gonna be able to flip a switch and it will be on and running. Now, when I go off-road, I can air out. A lot of you guys have been waiting for me to air out going off-road. Well, let's get started on this project and I'll be able to do that. What we're gonna do, since I have an aftermarket intake, that actually frees up all this space here. The stock intake used some of these bolts and just cover this entire area.
2 studs here and this one stud. We could even make a bracket that sits flat on this, going out here, bolted to here. So using these stock 3 studs to build a nice bracket, and then this could be bolted right onto that bracket, just like that. Look at just the quality of this, like the anodized blue.
Yeah, this looks pretty sweet. It's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
So this compressor is basically almost bulletproof. It's not going to get damaged being underneath the hood. As you can see in the picture here, it just basically needs a good dry surface. It needs to be above anywhere that would be submerged in water if I was driving through any creeks or anything. It's thermally protected, so even with the engine heat. But this is going to be the best spot for it. It's going to be nice and safe, away from the elements. First step, there's a couple dust covers that we need to remove. One on the side, there's one in the back there. So with both of those caps out, on the front side here, this is actually a mini air filter that gets screwed in. And once you have the back plating on it, this is the filter itself that just sits in there. And then we have the cover, or the cap of it, that just obviously holds it in place. So you can see all the lines and everything for it to filter out. I'm not sure how often I need to clean that, if I need to clean it, but I will definitely monitor and see. On the back side, where we took the other cap off, this piece is actually not supposed to be here. I'm still waiting for the hose to get in, so there's gonna be another valve that I need to replace here, put this piece into that, and then that's where I can actually hook my air compressor hose to, so that way it's functional. So right now I just have it there. As far as the rest of the wiring here goes, this portion here, I'm gonna start on this side. This plug with the red and black connects directly into the compressor, so that's how you get power. The other two here are going to be blank for me. If you're using like a front or rear air locker, those are going to coordinate with other switch controls that I'll show here later. These two pieces here actually go into the end of this piece. So again, with that other adapter in between that, you hook up this to the power, these two go on those prongs there, and then we have the actual piece for the hose. So hooking this up right now, I can actually do all 3 of those, or this one and these 2 here, and have it functionally working. Moving to one side here, we have the relay. I'm just going to have to figure out maybe a bolt that I can use under the hood to attach that to. There's another fuse here, and then all of these go to the battery, so the positive and negative. Moving to the other end of the wiring now, I have a pretty good amount here that I need to put through the firewall, and then once I do that, I can connect it to this portion here that has the actual controls. So you can see here is the compressor switch that I just need to mount to the end here. If you're running this just for the compressor, you need to use the isolation switch. Switch 1 and switch 2 are going to be for lockers or anything else that you're going to use the compressor for. So again, those are going to relate back to these two, which are going to be blank for me. I'm not running front or rear lockers, so I'm just going to have these taped up nicely hidden away. So if you're running this just for the compressor, use the isolation switch. And then these two are going to run up underneath the fuse box under the footwell, and I'll show you how to connect those and where to connect them. And then we just have this portion here and this portion here to attach. If you didn't see yesterday's video, that's where I showed actually making this bracket. So if you have a Tacoma and you're looking to do this, check out that video. I'll have it down in the description below. or if you're just looking on ideas on how to make a bracket, definitely check it out. I didn't go into any details today, but so far it's looking really nice. So after placing this in the truck, it looks like the back two bolts are actually fine. The elevation change, or how it goes down, actually slopes to where the back two don't touch. It's the front two that it's resting on. So I'm not able to have the bolts go through these holes enough to screw it in place. So I'm probably gonna take about a 1/4 inch off front, just on the front bolts alone. So with both of those front ones cut off, this is a step that I don't have to do, but I'm gonna use the grinder here and just make those, smooth them out a little bit more. You're not gonna see these, it doesn't really matter, but I just wanna clean them up a bit. The air compressor is now built in. What do you guys think so far? I thought this was a pretty awesome location to have it. It's gonna be easily accessible for being able to hook up the hose and being able to go around the truck and everything like that. So I'm gonna work from the compressor itself and go towards the inside with wiring up the switch. To show you guys where I am so far, I have the compressor plugged in. These are the two wires again going to this portion here. These zip ties are kind of temporary. I still need to trim them and figure out, you know, where all the wires need to go. But those two plugs that I'm not using, if you can see them right there, I'm hiding them behind here. This is the relay right here. I just bolted it into an existing bolt. And then I have the wires up running along with this thicker one here. Again, another zip tie. And then moving to the other side now, we still need to figure out where these wires are going. Again, I'm probably just gonna zip tie them to here. Starting with the wire going through the firewall, if you can see on the other side of my finger, the lighting's probably not the best. There's a little tiny grommet in there we're gonna pop out, and then once we do that, we can go ahead and remove this plug wire so that way we can feed the wires through.
And if you remember, this is the one that we actually installed. This came separate, so don't install this when you first do it. We already installed it just to make sure everything worked.
So you can easily do this by hand. I've already done this like 3 or 4 times today. It's just this little guy right here.
So with this grommet now, you can kind of push it inside out to get this giant rubber core. We're gonna cut the majority of this piece off. And then if you have like a leather punch or a really good hole puncher, you could actually cut a nice perfect hole in it. We cannot, actually, it's right here.
Is it? Oh, no way.
All right, here is the old leather punch. This is gonna be perfect because rather than cutting a hole, you're actually just punching a hole. We were literally downstairs looking for this for like 20 minutes. But
I can't believe it was right there.
All right, so now as you can see, that is a perfect hole punched rather than like a slit or something. So this may slice it a little bit, but you can see I can at least pull it through, stretching the rubber. But there's one down. And if we'll look actually as he's pulling this grommet down, that's a nice tight seal. We don't have to worry about anything weird. A lot of people sometimes will either just completely remove that grommet or like put it in between the metal and the grommet. That's not the safest way to go. So at least this, we have it nice and surrounded by rubber. Okay, so the way we're getting this through, I have my hand in the hole that is already here and I'm pulling this carpeting up and he's pushing the wires in and I can feel them on my fingertips.
Anything yet?
Yeah. All right, so there we go. Those are the plugs and everything. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and start pulling while he is feeding it into the firewall. And now we have quite a lot of the wires inside the cabin. We'll just pull the rest of these in, but that's pretty much how we get these wires into the firewall. A lot easier than we thought. And then now you can see the grommet down there perfectly in there. We'll zip tie the wires a little bit cleaner, but that is kind of the hard part of getting it through the firewall.
Now it's time to move on to the switch panel. I think I'm gonna replace this blank one right here because it makes the most sense. So it's gonna be easier if we pop this out. Getting the blank switch out, it looks pretty easy. It looks like there's, yep, okay, that's it. I have all of the components now for the switch right here. And then we'll just have to figure out where those are gonna hang out. We're gonna have to do a little bit of dremeling, I think.
Yeah, does it fit at all?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
So it's really just, it's these tabs on the inside. Our solution to this is just taking some pliers and basically just ripping them right up.
Yeah, just bend it a little bit, wiggle the plastic.
So we decided to take the whole contraption out because this plug is too wide. Even taking these little dividers out, it was too wide for that inner side. So we're just gonna take the Dremel now and just file that down. Sometime later, and a lot of Dremeling, It's a snug fit, so that's how it's gonna look, minus being prettier with the switch. What I did again, the other two switches wiring, I decided to hide just behind here. So it's not gonna be in the footwell or anything, it's just in this empty pocket. And I'm gonna leave this kind of popped out. So this is the wiring from the switch unit, which needs to be connected now back to this. And do you remember the colors on here?
So all you gotta do is just correspond them to there, and then we're gonna have a red bottom left.
Red bottom left.
And then the black one, and we'll plug that in.
So with all of those ready to go, this is the connection point, and I'm gonna worry about tying this up later. The next thing that we need to do before we hook it up to the battery is connect both of these to the fuses up underneath. For that, I have fuse adapters, so I'm doing it right this time. Let me go grab those. So here's the fuse adapter that I got. I got 2 of them. So with the fuse panel off now, on the left side you see 5A or panel, which is the first fuse. That's gonna be your blue wire. On the right side, you're gonna go 4 down to ignition number 2, or 10A. That's gonna be your red wire. So what I need to do is just take some of the wiring off to have a little bit better connection. Then I'm gonna connect it like this. Then we can pop the fuse out, place it in here, and replace it with this unit. Aside from cleaning up all the wires, now all we have to do is attach everything to the battery and do a test run, basically, on this working. So, you know, this isn't finalized on the wiring, this is just our test. Now it's time for the first testing of this compressor. That light switch should illuminate with the headlights, as it does there and everything else next to it. And now,
very cool. Now one thing, it's only running for a split second. Since we do not have the actual solenoid in here where the hose connects to, this piece right here is the pressure valve, so that is sensing way too much pressure in this little tiny chamber, therefore it's shutting off. But once we have the hose on it, you release the hose, the air pressure is released, and it'll just keep running and do what you gotta do.
So that's basically it, you guys. Just have to clean up everything. You will see everything nice and tucked away in the next video, actually getting the hose and using it and having everything functional and things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We don't normally work with electrical things and wiring up everything like that, so I think it was a pretty good DIY. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, definitely check out Tacoma Beast. I will have a link to their website down in the description below. They are your one-stop shop for any Tacoma accessory. But that wraps up having a built-in air compressor in the Tacoma, something that every off-roader should have. Air down and then air back up to hit the roads and drive this home, as it is my daily off-roader at the same time. So that is a pretty cool mod. You guys will see more of this in future videos. Again, if you enjoyed that video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next video.